that is in the poll. I ask our audience to answer that. The question is Trump interested in ending the war in Ukraine? So far, we have 72%. They say no, and 28% they say yes. What's your response to that?
No, he is not interested in ending the war, but he being constantly guided by the logic of the circumstances, essentially, and circumstances are being created primarily by Russia, into the inevitable conclusion that he has no other choice. And fact is, as has been stated on a number of occasions, the war is lost. And when you look attentively what is happening on the battlefield, and even today in the phone call it was stated, Russia owns basically possesses the strategic initiative. And if you look attentively at the tally, it's horrendous. Every day you can see now the videos are even circulating in Russian media, when you probably have the kill ratios are like 1 to 20, 1 to 25, and so. And it was stated today in the telephone call again to him that, yeah, no matter what you do, doesn't matter. Yeah, if you want to complicate relations by providing whatever you can provide with tomahawks, which is not going to change anything, but yeah, sure, but we'll see.
Before this phone call yesterday, we had Donald Trump talking about the situation in Ukraine. I want to point. I want to you take your. I want to hear your take on what he said, because it's our audience know what is the response, but it's important you to just pointing out what is your take on what Donald Trump has said.
Why he continues with this war. This war has been so bad for him. He's going into 4 years of a war that he should have won that war in 1 week.
Let me just stop here. One of the rhetorics in the United States that is so popular in the Trump administration, it seems that it's getting so popular, is that the war could have been ended in a week. And that's, if Russia didn't do this, it couldn't do this, that shows that Russia is weak. And
Mhm.
what is your response to that, Andrei?
Well, this taking Kiev in 3 days was Mark Millis when he was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The thing he threw in, and I mean, considering the fact that militarily United States is incompetent, and that you have all kinds of people who are butthurt, who are inventing things, and obviously Trump is. We have been through this before. The guy, not like yesterday, he just made up things about India, for example. The guy just invents things as he goes, that he spoke to Modi, which, like, everybody in India, what? He spoke to Modi, nobody knows about it. But yeah, I mean, this is the guy, and this is primarily most of the Pentagon top brass. They're militarily incompetent. They don't understand warfare. So what's left is propaganda, primarily not understanding. Well, I mean, let's put it this way. NATO has been defeated. Okay, even people in NATO know this. They are desperate. They're lashing out. They're pretending they're like this imbecile Rutter. He said that Russian pilots cannot fly properly. Their planes are rust buckets and things of this nature. Now they invent things that, oh yeah, this submarine, is broken. Yeah, broken submarines don't dive and then continue some things during the dive. And La Manche, you have to pass La Manche in the surface mode. You have to be on the surface. But yeah, this is all about butthurt, and yeah, especially among NATO militaries, they are pathetic, and I've been on that. I wrote 4 books on that, actually. And so, what's left? They are, as I already stated, this is the arrangement phase. How badly West wants to be humiliated. Well, West being the United States primarily. There is obviously this. It's not even the wild card. They're not wild card. They are nothing. The terrorist entity called United Kingdom, which will continue to conduct terrorist things. The only thing they know is how to kill civilians. Just that's what they're good at. So, but other than that, sure. I mean, whatever they want, but it's inevitable that Russia's demands are the same. They never changed, and they will be achieved one way or another. And this is also related to Mr. Lavrov's the day before yesterday statements when he spoke about, yeah, we're asked everything what happened in Anchorage. Trump stated to Vladimir Putin then that, oh, I need to go to Washington and consult people, and he said we never received any response since then. So okay, so that thing continues, and it doesn't matter. Their vice, so to speak, is tightened enough that there is no outcome other than what is going to happen for the combined West, for NATO. And yeah, Trump is beginning to invent things like talk with Modi, or that the countries of BRICS are leaving BRICS. I mean, I don't know how to react to that. It's an issue of this for psychiatrists to, and my friends on my blog, at my blog on discuss boards, they already put out that maybe we have the issue not just only with the dementia and other sheer narcissism, but indeed false memories, which is the psychological issue and psychiatric issue. And yeah, maybe he really believes that he spoke to Modi, of which of course neither Modi nor Foreign Ministry of India knew anything about it. And that Modi promised to him that he's gonna stop, buying Russian oil. That he stopped the war between Iran and Pakistan. I'm pretty sure Islamabad and Tehran were like, wow, we have been at war. So there you go. So we have this circus, okay? And can you imagine poor Vladimir Putin and poor Kremlin? They need to navigate with these morons, okay? You have the American military, those generals parading themselves as cretins, basically, be that Ben Hodges, Kellogg, or Keane, or what have you. And then even those people who are still serving. It's pathetic. I mean, this is just, they embarrass themselves. They embarrass their own country. That means they have no honor left. The only thing they are good at terrorism is pretty much. That's the only thing.
Andrei, getting back to when the conflict in Ukraine started, I remember Putin once said that even in the final days of going into Ukraine, they didn't want it to attack Ukraine.
No.
They wanted some sort of leverage to negotiate, to talk with the Ukrainians. Until the last moment, they didn't plan anything to go in Ukraine. And looking at what has happened since then, Russia is fighting the whole West. And together, not only the whole West, together, I would argue, Turkey, South Korea, Japan, these all countries all came together. Somehow they helped the situation in Ukraine. They in favor of Ukraine. They tried to send weapons, drones, and all of these things. It seems that in the Trump administration, they don't appreciate what has happened. And this is the first time, in my opinion, in the recent history that we see a country fighting the whole, West together with other vassals, that they help them. Why is that so difficult for them to understand?
Well, because first, keep in mind, I won't repeat it again. You can quote me on that. Humanities degree, humanities education in United States and combined West, if you look attentively at what they teach in the history and all kinds of those geopolitics, what have you, courses, 99% of it is academic fraud, as are those people with those, which H.L. Mencken beautifully termed as the morons with PhDs. And so when you look attentively, CIA is incompetent. It can kill somebody, okay? It can do a terrorist act. The strategic forecasting in the United States and in the West does not exist as a craft. They don't have people who understand it. And when you look attentively at what is being produced by basically Western academia in terms of geopolitics, it's all academic fraud, starting from Henry Kissinger to Brzezinski to all kinds of them. They do not understand basic things about applied geopolitics, and they do not know what war is. Pentagon does not know what war is. Their chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff doesn't understand what war is. And when they have been demonstrated how Russia does it with the one left hand, with the right hand being tied, they are not happy because they never had the ability to essentially get out of their echo chamber and from the confabulated. It's false history, false memories we have in Trump. You have the whole false history about warfare in the United States and in the West. You have the literally a bunch of morons from the West Point Academy or the General Command and General Staff College in Leavenworth, Kansas, who worship Germans. The whole history, the whole operational and strategic views of the United States Army, which came to when the war was essentially over in Europe, for example, 1944, it was shaped by Germans. It was shaped by the French elements and psychos such as Solzhenitsyn or all kinds of the white immigration about history of Russia, about the Soviet Union, about everything. They literally know nothing because, as I already stated, both it's fraud, basically. It's academic fraud. And when you look attentively, especially in the military education, what you have in the United States, let alone Europe doesn't have military education as proper education at all. When you look at all those academies, the academic level is extremely low. When you look attentively at what happens, for example, in West Point, they really live in this bubble. They don't have technical expertise to understand what is going on, as what happened when the arms race was lost. They believed that somehow Gulf War 1.0 was such an achievement. So yeah, it is all about PR. It is all about Hollywood. And yeah, I am on the record, and anybody, any army which worships this mediocrity general Patton, you have to check their heads, if they really understand what real war is, and they don't. And today I wrote also the thing, there's not a single officer in the U.S. military, let alone, we're not going to Europeans. It's pathetic, really. But there's not a single officer in the U.S. military, starting from the bottom to top, to the very top of Pentagon, who understands and knows how to conduct combat management of any kind of the high tactical, be that regiment or brigade or operational tactical like division or operational level formations. They don't understand what it is. They obviously bought and drank the school aid, and then suddenly they face, as I already stated, many people do not understand the gravity of what I state. The U.S. military, again, we're not talking about Europeans. Europeans are pathetic. I mean, they just, they don't have armies per se. U.S. military has the TOE, Table of Organization of Equipment, from 1990. Today is 2025. Today we look at a completely new paradigm in the military technological development. And yeah, I'll read my lips. United States lost the arms race by a knockout, not just by a knockout. And as a result, that's what you have. What do you expect? You expect that those people who are hiding behind their cannon fodder, they kill it in millions, not hundreds of thousands. These are all the operations planned and executed and commanded and controlled by the NATO generals, primarily Americans. They killed 2 million cannon fodder of Ukraine and achieved nothing. They lost the war, and they cannot take it anymore because they don't have an owner. They were thinking that they can repeat some kind of the Gulf War, but that tells you how incompetent they are. The same goes for the CIA. The same goes for all those, intelligence organizations who only good at all kinds of the political, machinations. They are not good professionals. They can spy on you. They can sabotage people. They can kill people, but they cannot win a thing when it comes down to the real contest of power, real national power. And there you are. Here it is.